it go. So, good afternoon. I am so pleased to be here with an amazing social worker and entrepreneur, Lisa Wiborg, today. It's good to see you, Lisa.
Thanks, you too, Kate.
Thank you for coming on, taking your time. I know how busy you are. Can you just talk a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what program you're developing?
Sure, thank you. I'm Lisa Wiborg. I'm an independently licensed social worker here in Ohio, and I'm also a veterinary social worker, which is the absolute coolest thing in the world. It is working with people in the human animal bond. So, not only pet owners and things that they are experiencing with their own animal, like pet loss or things like that, but it's also tending to the mental health needs of those who are caring for our animals. So, veterinarians, veterinary assistant nurses, shelter workers, just really kind of taking into account the compassion fatigue that goes into that line of work. And I just think it's so incredible that there's actually a whole set of social work meant for tending to this other unique profession. So they have very high suicide rates, and so many things go on to contribute to what veterinarians experience in their line of work. So my specialty, though, however, is actually educating other social workers here in Ohio who've never heard of veterinary social work before. So, actually, I've developed my mission statement, which is to educate and inspire mental health professionals to gain knowledge and practice skills about the human animal bond and how to implement that in their practice. So, we are Healing Paws LLC. We are here for veterinary social work education and supervision. So that's a little bit of a nutshell, I think, of what I'm developing here.
I love it. You are the perfect example of a social worker who has niche down. So all of us are generalists. We all start out as generalists. That's how we're trained in our grad schools. And so people often come out and I talk to them and I'm like, well, so what are you interested in doing? I'm interested in helping everybody all the time. And that's great. That's what makes us so unique. I think that's why I only work with social workers in this program. But to be able to niche down, and you're the perfect example. So thank you for saying that here.
Yeah.
So what was going on for you when you called me?
Oh, so many things. And like you were just referencing, we have all of these skills and generalist type of things that we've been doing. My whole career had been in medical social work. And I said in my undergraduate internship and my graduate internship, I only want to work in human hospitals. And then I did that for about 12, 13 years. And I said, oh my gosh, I never want to do that another day in my life. And that's actually how I found veterinary social work. And I thought, oh my gosh, these are my people. This is exactly what I'm looking for, my passion. So I did the program at University of Tennessee, and then coming back to Ohio, these jobs didn't exist here. There's
Right.
nothing in Ohio that was going to hire me to be a veterinary social worker. And then as I discovered all the different types of things you can do as a veterinary social worker, like working in a vet clinic, um, running a pet loss hotline, um, oh gosh, a couple different things that I love the idea of a vet social worker, but I was like, I don't want to do those things either. So I had developed Healing Paws. Actually, I filed for my LLC in 2017 and it sat there
Yeah.
and sat there for years. I ended up actually connecting with another vet social worker here in Ohio. So we partnered together, but then it still sat there and we weren't sure what to do with it. So we were really stuck. And my just a good friend of mine actually participates, Kate, in your regular your training supervision courses, and she says, my supervisor is starting this group, and it's for independent social workers, helping them develop their career and figure out what their businesses are going to be. And I said, oh my gosh, number one, to have it be a social worker, not just a mental health professional, because, there's counselors, there's, all the other types of people out there, um, independently licensed and in Ohio. And that was actually the perfect trifecta of somebody I needed for guidance and just bounce ideas off of. You come with all of these years of experience, not only as a social worker, but now as a business person. And
Yeah.
that's what they don't teach you in school.
No, they
And so Oh my goodness. I think I remember one class where someone said the word like LLC. And when I was in school, I was like, oh, that's not for me. I'm never gonna have my own practice.
Yeah.
So really being able to connect with you and then a small group of other social workers who are starting a development their own type of thing too. So to me, that network has been so incredibly necessary for this.
I'm so glad that it worked out for you. But what made you finally sign up for Intentional Career by Design?
I think it was actually having that discovery call with you.
Mm,
We talked for just a few minutes, but then when you were, we are social workers, but we also need to make money. We are worth it. We are smart. We are capable. And I think just having the thought, oh, I can do this. And then seeing that you're already doing it, it can do it. It can work.
yeah,
So I think that was when I said, all right, let's just dive in and do this, invest in myself. And that's what I did.
I love that
Yeah.
you invested in yourself, made that decision. We often just think about it because we've never trained and there's no direct path. If we're already working a full-time job and you don't have, because I went through this, that's why it
Mhm.
came to me. Actually, my supervisees were saying, I'm done with supervision. What do I do next? I can't find anything. And I'm like, well, I've done this. So it was just a natural outgrowth. And I really believe we manifest exactly what it is that we need. And you did it. Um,
Yeah.
what can you pinpoint so far? What's helped you most in the program?
I think definitely the niche activity of really, I was trying to do everything. I
Yeah.
was, when I wrote my mission statement years ago, it was, we are a social work profession, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's so broad. And I
Yeah.
think I was trying to do all those things.
Yes.
But then niching down, niching down, niching down, and to say, you know what? I don't want to provide clinical direct practice work myself. But I want to teach other social workers how to incorporate the human animal bond in what they're doing.
Yes.
So figuring out it was education, it was the supervision, it was mentoring other, I call them baby social workers,
Yeah.
to just know that that social work exists. I had no idea it existed when I was in graduate school or when I was a young pup. So I think for me, just wanting to share that passion and inspire others to do this kind of work, and how can I help educate and support them doing that?
I've been in the field 30 years. I never knew it existed till I talked with you. How cool. It's just the best.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So, what is it like for you now from when we
Now,
first?
yeah. I feel I have direction. Before it was a sure I can do this, and yes, I have people that will hire me to come do some talks about this. But now I have motivation and direction of where to go. So I actually on Friday had my first discovery call with somebody who wants to sign up for supervision with me. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't even know what a discovery call was until you. But it completely makes sense. Something short that I can, tell them about what I do. Are we a good fit? Um, and then we are actually recording. I actually recorded on Friday also one of my first webinar modules. So we're in the process of applying for CEU credit from NASW, submitted things on Friday. Just kind of waiting to get the okay for my courses to get approved. And then once we get them recorded, we're going to put them on an online platform, which I think is very helpful that you've given your experiences of, what these platforms worked for you. Here's some other coaching things that worked for you. Virtual assistants, what other tools are out there that exist? And they may not work for me, or maybe some of them
Right.
do, but I think I didn't know any of them were even out there. And I think that was the biggest thing, to know what other social workers are using in a business mind. Um, because it's not as common out there as we'd like it to be.
I think it's, just being a social worker. When I started the process, I've talked to many coaches, programs, platforms. And from a social worker point of view, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why is there not Why is
Mhm.
there not a system in the process?
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for my graduate school training from that point of view. You look at a system, you're like, there's no system for us to
Mhm.
move forward. So it's just a blast putting it all together and being able to share what each one of us learns, especially in group. And I will tell you, look forward, I've got more modules up. So, and the latest ones will come with discovery calls, and that hopefully in the next week or two, all of those will be up. So I'm excited to hear what you think about them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Um,
lastly, oh, I'm sorry,
mhm.
go ahead.
No, I was just thinking there was something, but I forgot what I was going to say.
So lastly, what advice would you have for a social worker who's feeling stuck and is hesitating to take the next step to change their life and design their career?
Mm. I would say don't give up, invest in yourself.
Mhm.
There are others like us out there, and take a leap of faith. I mean, that's, I think, kind of what it comes down to. I think, manifesting is not something that I ever really had thought about, or, it wasn't a regular practice of mine. But then learning and realizing how things have fallen into place at exactly the right time that they needed to. And sometimes it's looking back to be able to put that together, that reflection of what happened last couple months, last couple years. But seeing that it has happened the way it's supposed to. So having that faith to just say, take a chance, invest in yourself, and move forward, I
Yeah.
think is
Trust
important.
yourself, if nothing else. It was a pleasure to talk with you today, Lisa. I look forward to seeing you on the next ICD call and,
Wonderful.
all the coaching calls and that. And have a great day. Thanks so much for your time. I know how busy you are now.
That's all right. Thank you so much, Kate. I'm grateful for everything.
Many blessings.